Sandspod Raceway in the UK, Driftwood Brung, is probably the best place to learn how to do some drifting in the UK currently. There are training pens for doing donuts and figure eights down the bottom. Over there, there's a kidney for learning how to scrub speed while drifting, which is a skill you're going to need when you get on the big track, which is this track here. Just got a slight delay due to something on the track. I'm not sure what it is, but they're going to get back going in a second. They sign on about 75 drivers per Driftwood Brung, and that gives you access to all the pens to learn in and the kidney, and then to make it hopefully onto the big track. And it's something that you could perhaps do in a single day, is learn your donuts figure eights, go in the kidney, and then make it onto the big track with all the other cars, do some proper drifting. But not everyone feels confident enough to do that, but I'd encourage anyone who is getting on really well in the donuts and figure eights pen to then move up into the kidney and progress onto the big track during the course of the day. That's your sort of goal, to get on the big track. And then when you're on the big track, you can go around on your own. When you get into grips with it, you can avoid other cars. If someone comes up behind you and they see you do a couple of turns and they think they can join you in a bit of tandem, if you're not comfortable with that, you can just pull off to one side or flag them by or stop drifting, and they'll drive past and carry on. Then you can just proceed on your own. Once you're confident, you could do a little bit of twinning with people. It's best to ask beforehand in case someone's in a precious car and they don't want you trying to get on their door. Next year we've got a new rule coming into place to say that everyone has to wear a helmet at Driftwood Brung. It's not something they require at the moment, although it is advised, but it is from next year required. Danny Grundy. Welcome to my live stream at Driftwood Brung. See the cars queuing up to come out on track in a moment. This live stream will be going on for about 45 minutes until the track closes at 1:45 for a lunch break. Please like, share and subscribe if you fancy to keep up to date with everything I've been up to in Japan. I'm live on the internet. That's Rads, one of the top marshals here at Driftwood Brung. He's been doing it for a very long time, got a lot of experience. Drives a 350Z, does drift taxis. Used to compete in the BDC in his S13. Probably get about 3 or 4 minutes out on track at a time with your friends. Then you can join the back of the queue and go again. So you'll probably be back out on track if we weren't going to lunch break, about 20 minutes probably. Depending on how big the queue is. Sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's bigger. See someone in a BMW Compact in the kidney pen over there. Here they come. Yes, that's the diesel Mercedes Touring. Very cool car. It's been here once before, and a lot of the diesels I think suffer with short gearing, so they run out of revs pretty quickly. But I think he's got it pretty much sussed in that car. It goes very, very well. That is a very cool car. I'm gonna move over to a different corner for a bit. Managed to get over that side. Right, I'm gonna stay here. Right, let's get over that side there, see what we can see from this angle. Need a steady cam, don't I? Comes the diesel. Woo. Right, that's the end of that session. So the DWYB track here, top track, is pretty much the same track that they started off with years ago. Why is that? Well, it fits the landscape that we've got here at Santa Pod. The track has got undulations, so when it rains, it collects in certain areas. I think this does the best job of avoiding all the areas where the rain gathers in big puddles like here and over there. And it gives you a chance for a fast section where you can pull third gear over here and down onto what we call the big corner. So it's a pretty good layout. Move into another part of the track. there you go, that's the end of that session. Got some new drivers coming out here shortly. This car's a bit of a weapon. Nice Christmas tree on that one. It's a cool little MX-5. Compact. That's the end of that session. New batch of drivers about to come out. That guy in the touring has been pounding the kidney all day. Needs to get himself on the big track now. I reckon he's got that. Morning, James. Wow, I've got a viewer. Welcome to my live stream. That is a fixer-up of that car. That's the end of that session. So if any drag racers are watching this, you'll know exactly where this is taking place. It's basically the pits for the drag racing. So there are a few drifters that don't like the track here because it's a bit bumpy and they've got super low cars that bottom out. But it's not really a track, it's just basically the pits we're using. So it needs to have undulations in it to get the drainage required to get the water off the pits. And that undulation causes a few bumps for the drifters, but it's just one of those things. You get massive articulated lorries here with the drag teams with the big feet that create a bit of a sinkhole in the tarmac and make little ripples, but it's just one of those things. It is what it is. That's the end of that session. See if I can move over the other side of the track, give us a different view of the next session. Thank you for checking out my Drift What You Brung live stream. If you fancy subscribing to the channel, it'd be much appreciated. Trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. And if you give it a share to help me out, that would be much appreciated. But thank you for watching either way. Can have a nose in the kidney here to see the MX-5 doing a few laps, get his eye in. He's already been on the big track. Else in the kidney in a nice blue BMW E46. Got a few laps. Green one definitely sounds like a V8. Here we go. Oh. Nearly had me. Let's check out this little MX-5 in the kidney. It looks like he's probably driven the car here because he's got a rack on the boot for his wheels. Hardcore drifter. Not a trailer queen. I think the MX-5 is Mark Webb. I think he's got an RX-8 rotary engine in it. It goes well when it gets up on the revs. Right, let's see if we can switch over the other side. This is the last session before lunch. See what the rest of the session brings. Here's Beth. Having a cool down lap perhaps. Well, that's it. That's the end of my live stream. I'm going to carry on doing photos this afternoon. I hope that a few people come and check them out in the Blackett photography trailer that we've got here at DWYB. And we've got some hats like this for sale from the DWYB trailer this afternoon, and I'm going to be carrying on doing photos until it gets dark, which I don't normally do. Just got someone else come and help us in the trailer to serve customers, so I can stay out a little bit longer and get some even more cool photos of people with their Christmas lights on their car. So there's a lot of people here really enjoy the Christmas DWYB. They wrap this around their wigs on the car, they put lights on the car and stuff like that. And I'm going to see how they go later, try and get some cool shots of them in the dark, which will look good hopefully. So please look out on the Blackett Photography Drift YouTube channel for more live videos and more content from Japan, from North Korea, from DWYB. Give us a like and a share with your friends if they're into drifting, and look forward to seeing you at the track sometime soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.